Today I'm showing you the most OP setup. Today I'm showing you the most OP DPS setup for the Devastator, allowing you to do about 200 million over or under in 3-player tier 15 expeditions. Now you will need everything optimized as I have here in order to put up those numbers, unless you're playing with 2 other people that are significantly less powerful and you're doing most of the work and having a longer time for the board. But this is for getting tier 15 golds I'm talking about. So the setup is this shotgun right here. I'm not going to pronounce that. You're going to need 2 guillotines because you're going to take the mod from the guillotine, which is the radiation splash, and you're going to put it on your shotgun right here. You're going to take the mod from the other shotgun and put it on the guillotine right here. And then you're going to take Moaning Winds and you're going to put it on the pistol. Now you want the 1.6 second reload pistol, and I'll get into why in a moment. I'm just going to show you all the mods and the gear real quick first. So next up, we're going to be using the Seismic Commander helmet for the anomaly power, and because the other 2 line up as well. We're going to keep the Impale because why not? We need a 3rd perk. Golem and Earthquake, or this is a Golem Earthquake build, but you want to have some fun too when you're not spamming Moaning Winds, and I'll get into exactly how to do that. So we're going to keep the Impale perk here, and we're going to keep the Impale perk on the Commander's armor. And we're going to put on Captain Hunter because the thing we do the least best is do damage against elites and 1v1 elites more than like groups of elites. Groups of elites, we can hit them pretty hard over time, but we're better at mobs than 1v1, so we're taking that 25% extra power. Now we're also going to be taking the Seismic Commander's leg, and we're going to be taking the Bleeding Impulse on Golem because Moaning Winds hits for 8 meters, and this bleeds everybody within 10 meters, so it's great to activate right before you start spamming Moaning Winds or right before you want to start running through crowds of enemies and deal immense damage because now you're getting that bleed bonus on all those enemies. Now this one you don't actually need the Seismic Commander set. You can very easily use an epic, which I plan to do. I just haven't got the epic with the perfect roll because I need the level 1 mod on it, so I'm going to have to go get that. But anyway, what you would want is anomaly, status, cooldown, and skill leech. Pick 3 of the 4 depending on what you want, but 3 of those 4 for your tributes, whatever. For the legs, you're going to be running anomaly, cooldown, status power. This is my preferred top 3 is anomaly, cooldown, status power. Personally, I choose that on that too. We're going to be running the 3rd earthquake because our earthquake bleeds. The cooldown is so ridiculously low that we can bleed a lot of targets in between being able to use Moaning Winds, and that just increases the damage on that as well. And we're going to be taking Bloody Boost, so we do more bleed damage because we're just constantly bleeding out enemies. So really quickly, I'll get into exactly how to use this setup. So the way you use this build is you're going to fire all the guns once at the start of the game, and then when you want to use Moaning Winds, you'll reload your first gun, swap weapons, reload the second gun, swap weapons, reload the 3rd gun, and you have to hold Y, you know, for the pistol, or when you want to use the pistol, hold Y, reload the 3rd one, swap weapons. Now after you've used all 3, you're going to go into strategically using your skills, whether it be Golem and then hitting with the Earthquake and Impale, or spamming a couple Earthquakes and an Impale, and then strategically use Moaning Winds again. Moaning Winds is going to be by far the most amount of your damage. It's probably going to be about 60 to 70% of your overall damage. So you can have a lot of fun with the skills, but ideally you want to be using Moaning Winds as much as possible if you want to do the most amount of damage. So onto the skills. We have obviously Earthquake, Impale, and Golem, no surprise there. For our class tree, it's going to be all anomaly, power, bleed, cooldowns, seismic cooldown, more anomaly, power, cooldown on Golem, 45% anomaly power when we use Golem, and obviously try to time your Golems for either running through the crowds and using the Moaning Wind, or time it to use Golem and then spam 3 Earthquakes and spam your Impales real quick. Then we're going to choose Resistant Piercing, increase your anomaly power, increase bleed duration, reduce seismic cooldowns, more increased anomaly. Why not? We'll take Executioner, more damage when they're below 30%. There's not much else you could use. You could take 10% health, but we're going damage here. So, increases bleed duration, increases anomaly power. Bleed affected on enemies deals 30% more damage. You are healed for 25% of your bleed, and that's why you can just stay in the middle, even on tier 15, stay in the middle of tons of enemies because you're healing so much. As long as you're strategically bleeding out with your Earthquakes, large groups, and using your Golem well, you can just be a monster out in the middle of the board spamming Moaning Winds and your abilities. Now, finish off the tree, we're going with the Skill Leech. Increased armor based off our anomaly power, which is really significant because our anomaly power is already so high. Increased armor and resistance, which we get when our skill ends, and we get it for 10 seconds, so we basically always have this as well. Bleed afflicted on enemies deals 30% more damage, and finally we're going to increase our seismic skills by 50%, well, the base damage by 50%. And I'll also have a link in the description of some tier 15 gameplay so you can see this strategy or this build, how you can actually use it and use it highly efficiently. As you'll see, I just stand out in the middle of everyone, just not giving a fuck, just straight mowing them down with Moaning Winds and having a little bit of fun. So I hope this build helps.